Members, the question is that the motion be agreed to.
Mr Speaker.
Call the Honourable Annette King.
Mr Speaker, the Labour opposition will be supporting the Canterbury Earthquake Commemoration Day bill, and we are determined to work alongside this government and the community to make sure that Christchurch is a better place for everybody, including our children. And one way that we can do that is to ensure that this day of commemoration is able to take place. I have been one of those who have been to Christchurch over the last 2 weeks on 2 occasions, and I have seen firsthand the devastation and the impact on the lives of so many people who live in Canterbury, but also families and friends right around New Zealand. I don't think I have ever seen such devastation in one of our cities or towns in New Zealand, and we've had many disasters over many years, but I don't think that I have seen in my lifetime such devastation. Yesterday I went to Littleton, and I think unless you have been there, you will not believe that almost that entire town has fallen down, and that is going to take a lot of hard work to rebuild it, as it will in many parts of the city. And so, as we have said on a number of occasions over the last 2 weeks, we feel for the people of Canterbury, and we want to be part of the rebuild of that area as fast as we can. We want to ensure that they have the opportunity to work and live and play in a most wonderful part of New Zealand. And as a former South Islander who did train there as a school dental nurse, I have a lot of affection for that city. This bill, we believe, is appropriate to set aside a day for the people of Christchurch to mourn for the staggering loss of life. I would, however, have to say that it would feel better if we knew the names of all those who had passed away, if we knew who they were that we were commemorating, because there is a feeling of emptiness that there are only so many identified at this stage as having passed away. And I understand the terrible work that has to be done in identification, and I say to the Minister of Police that the work that they have been doing is absolutely amazing, and they will do it thoroughly, and they will ensure that loved ones will know that the remains of their loved one are the people who they are. And so I understand that. But I feel that a commemoration should really be about commemorating those who have lost their lives, and we will be in a situation where this day is held where we won't know who they all are. And it makes you wonder whether there does need to be at some stage some other commemoration where we finally, perhaps a year after this event, perhaps when we've had the ability to identify everybody and people's minds are laid at rest, able to, together as a country, commemorate this terrible disaster in this country. We also believe that by having a day to commemorate, people will be able to stop and to reflect on what they would like to see happen in their own region, their own city. And it is important, and one of the things that was said to me over and over again when I've been in Canterbury is we must have a say over what happens to our city. We must have a say over how it's developed and designed and built. And I think that is a strong message we must all take on board when we think of the people of Christchurch. If you think about it, and it's your own backyard, it would be wrong and you would feel aggrieved if somebody said to you, this is how you're going to have your own domain, and we're going to make the decision for you. So I think it is a clear message to us, those of us would like to see a rebuild happen quickly, that we stop, we take a breath, and we think about how we can ensure that there is going to be a rebuild of that city that has the buy-in of many, many of those people. Because we know that the economic cost to us as a country, along with the social cost, is huge if we don't get the rebuild of that city right. So I am urging us, when we commemorate and when people are thinking about it, consider the views of the Cantabrians and what they would like to see happening. There is no need for us to panic in terms of the re-establishment of that city. What an opportunity we have with the people of Canterbury to ensure that we build a city of the 21st century of the like we don't have in this country, and we look back in 100 years' time and we say, out of that devastation and out of that rubble has grown another city that is providing economic and social sustenance to many, many people over many generations. So, Mr Speaker, we do support this bill, and we will ensure that we are represented at that memorial service. I know that the Leader of the Opposition will, alongside the Prime Minister, be speaking on that day, making it a parliamentary occasion. And I think that is important, because it is not a government occasion, because we have been talking across this House about how we stand together. And I think the importance of that commemoration service is that it represents the political parties across the political divide at that memorial service, so that people can see that we are together in commemorating with them the loss of so many lives. So, Mr Speaker, we stand here to support this bill and commend it to the House.